Air Nigeria is set to take off by April 2022. Federal government promises to address hike in price of cooking gas. And federal government directs ITO to halt operation in Bayelsa oil field. Glad to have you join us on News Now. I am Mary Kanu. The Federal Executive Council, FEC, has approved April 2022 as the takeoff date of Air Nigeria, the proposed new national carrier. Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika announced the takeoff date of briefing State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council meeting at the Presidential Villa, Abuja. He explained that the national carrier will be run by a company in which the Nigerian government will hold a 5% stake, while Nigerian entrepreneurs will hold 46%, adding that the remaining 49% will be reserved for yet to be assigned strategic equity partners, including foreign investors.
Is approval of the outline business case for the establishment of the national carrier. And this is the 6th time that the memorandum appeared before Council, and 6th time got lucky to be passed by Council. The very quick, maybe perhaps structure of the proposed airline, government will be owning not more than 5%. Not more than 5%, below 5%. So 5% is the maximum equity the government will take. Then 46% will be owned by Nigerian entrepreneurs. And then 49% will be held by strategic equity partner or partners that will be sourced during the procurement phase, which is the next phase. This airline, if started and within the first few years, will generate about 70,000 jobs. Approval for the award of contract for the provision of automated civil aviation regulatory equipment, including software support and training, which will be located in Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport. In summary, this is a software that will allow all of the activity of civil aviation regulation to be done electronically on one platform.
The federal government has blamed the regulation for the hike in cooking gas prices across the country. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources TV360 Silva, after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja, told newsmen that government cannot regulate the price of the commodity. Silva, however, promised that the government is making efforts to reduce the cost of the commodity and make it affordable for Nigerians. Our correspondent Abisola Adebayo has the details in this next report.
In the past 3 months, the cost of cooking gas in the country has more than doubled, drawing complaints from domestic consumers and industry players alike. These formed a critical part of the meeting between President Muhammadu Buhari and the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, TV360 Silva, where he presented CEOs of the 2 new agencies, the Nigeria Upstream Regulatory Commission and the Nigerian Downstream and Midstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, at the State House in Abuja. Silva clarified that while the government has no control over the price increase, it is working tirelessly to bring down the price of cooking gas, especially during the Yuletide.
Cooking gas is not subsidized. It is already a deregulated commodity. So the price of cooking gas is not determined by government or by anybody here in the industry. In fact, gas prices are determined internationally. And you are all aware that in Europe today, gas prices have gone up. There was even a crisis in Europe. And I want to assure you that we are quite concerned. Mr. President also is very concerned. He's aware that the price of gas is high in the market, and we are doing everything to see how we can bring down the price of gas, especially as we approach the Yuletide.
The oil spillage at Santa Barbara in Nembe local government area of Bayelsa State was also at the fore during this meeting. President Buhari has since directed the minister to visit the community and investigate the level of damage done at the site.
Definitely, we are quite concerned with what is happening in Nembe, and we'll be going there very soon, tomorrow, in fact, to go and look at what is happening and report back. Environmental degradation issues are things that we are not going to condone. But of course, we'll work with the operators of OML 29 to ensure that this spillage is brought under control as quickly as possible.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Midstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, Farouk Ahmed, who was meeting the President for the first time, gave updates on what his commission has been up to since it started operations. He assures that there is no plan to increase the official price of premium motor spirit as speculated.
Was the NNPC from the 15th of this month, they have already converted to charging Naira instead of dollar for their excess capacity charter to all marketing companies. So I believe with this, there will be no reason for the depot owners to increase their price beyond the official selling price of 148 Naira.
This is President Muhammadu Buhari's first meeting with the new board since the Petroleum Industry Act was signed into law. He expressed satisfaction at the level of implementation of the act, urging regulators in the industry to do what is best for the country. Abisola Adebayo, TV360 News.
Following the damages done by Aito leaking oil pipe to the people of Nembe community in Bayelsa State, the federal government has halted all operations in the affected area until a proper investigation has been conducted. The Ministry of Environment disclosed this in a statement signed by the press director for the Ministry of Environment, Sagir El Mohammed, on Tuesday in Abuja, outlining the steps that the government investigation team and Aito had taken to cushion the effect of the oil spillage at Santa Barbara. He added that there would be further curtailment measures to ensure that the leak was adequately managed. Mohammed thereafter explained that more booms have been deployed by the Clean Nigeria Association TNA system to aid the on-site recovery contractor. And the federal government has approved the sum of 6.3 billion naira for the award of contract for provision of training, logistics and operational equipment under the Integrated National Surveillance and Waterways Protection Infrastructure in Nigeria. This was made known by the Minister of Transportation while briefing journalists after the end of the weekly Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja on Wednesday. The minister in his briefing explained that the contract was approved by the council in a bid to enhance security in the country's waterways.
An approval for the award of contract for the provision of training, logistics, operational equipment and maintenance support for government-furnished sites, equipment and personnel under the Integrated National Surveillance and Waterways Protection Solution Infrastructure in Nigeria. And you know that this is also what we call Deep Blue Project. That is the project that the President launched some months ago, either May or June, I can't remember now. In all of it, the contract was awarded at 6,347,967,644 Naira 21 Kobo, inclusive of 7.5% tax for a period of 2 years. Just important to say that the Cabinet was briefed that there is huge improvement in the security in our waterways now. And we hope that it will continue as we progress. Thank you.
The federal government has launched a new enhanced electronic passport to improve passport application process for Nigerians at home and in diaspora. Speaking during the rollout of the passport at the Nigerian High Commission in London, the Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, said it is the responsibility of the government to provide the passport without stress within a reasonable period, adding that the Nigerian passport is the highest affirmation of Nigerian citizenship. The minister explained that the new e-passport is a huge improvement over the standard passport introduced in 2007, adding that it has more sophisticated security features, making it one of the most secure passports in the world. And the House of Representatives has passed a bill for an act to amend the Business and Technical Exams Board Act for second reading. The bill, when assented to by the President, will seek to improve the scope of the board to undertake contemporary business and technical examinations in line with the national policy on education, provide the general purpose of the result certificate in awards issued by the board. Our correspondent Anita Patrick has more details.
Education, which serves as the bedrock of national development, has suffered ill fate in some constituencies in respect to areas of specialty. Hence the passing of the Business and Technical Exams Board Act for second reading to broaden the scope of the board in addressing issues around education and job creation. The bill, sponsored by Julius Hilberry, who also doubles as the House Committee Chairman on Primary Education, argued in his submission that the bill has become expedient in the country.
They're just samples of over 600 letters from young Nigerians who went through NAPTEP examinations, did the JAM, passed, went to the universities, only to be rejected by the universities. Some of them here are written by lawyers from polytechnics also, and from vice chancellors. And the ground is that the law establishing NAPTEP has not been upgraded adequately to cover the facts that they are sitting for some of the examinations they seek for. All we've done here, we're not adjusting the structure of NAPTEP. All we're doing is upgrading the certificates they cover in line with the national policy on education, so that these universities will not be rejecting their certificates and the students that take them.
The lawmakers debating in favor of the bill say, being a vocational training program bill, the shortfall in employment and issues of restiveness in the country will be addressed.
I am urging the House to really allow this bill to be read a second time, sent to the proper committee, so that due diligence could be done or should be done to it.
This NAPTEP is a very, very fundamental way of examining our students who will go through vocational institution and probably get themselves even into polytechnics. And then they can create jobs for themselves.
In a related development, lawmaker Henry Achibong urged the House to allow the bill for an act to establish Federal College of Agriculture, Okuibuku, Itu in Akwa Ibom State, and for related matters passed for second reading.
The proposed College of Agriculture will prepare students for careers in all aspects of agriculture, the value chain, and agribusinesses. This development will enable all our youths in the South-South to make contributions to a modern sustainable farming practices. The establishment of this college will produce both the middle and high-level agricultural food production experts needed to take Nigeria to the next level. It is also worthy to note that some of the major food crops grown in this country, like cassava, maize, palm fruits, coconuts, cocoyam, etc., come from Akwa Ibom, and we have a huge arable land for it.
The bill was passed for second reading when put to vote by the presiding speaker Idris Wase at plenary, who ruled that it should be given urgent attention to address issues of unemployment in the country. Anita Patrick, TV360, Abuja.
And the European Union has assured of its commitment towards deepening its intervention programs in Nigeria. EU Ambassador to Nigeria Samuela Isopi gave the assurance in Abuja at an informal gathering to mark her accreditation as the European Union envoy. Samuela said the EU remains a critical partner to Nigeria and aims to help the country to implement and achieve its sustainable development goals. The development cooperation intervention, according to the ambassador, is moved towards a stronger focus on jobs, investment and growth.
We will continue to support Nigerian civil society. We will continue to support democratic institutions. We will continue to support good governance in Nigeria. We will continue to support the gender and youth agenda in Nigeria. We will continue to help Nigeria face its multiple challenges. And what I mention is, of course, challenges concerning security, poverty, and we will continue very much to work together. We consider Nigeria to be a very important ally for the European Union on a number of issues, post-COVID reconstruction, for example, but also on many other issues. Climate change, the main priority for us would be actually to work together on that positive agenda and try to advance and make progress together on all these issues.
And innovation in the food business is becoming rampant, with more agricultural solutions to meet up with the growing food demand. With this, the 75-year-old Teresa Lani has keyed into this growing trend by transforming plantain into flour to boost variety of consumers as well as ensure healthy diet. Our correspondent Mojisola Matomi now reports.
Plantain is a major food crop not only in Nigeria, but also in Africa and around the world. It is mostly enjoyed as a side dish to many of Nigeria's delicious cuisines. But with its vast array of health benefits, a South-South-based entrepreneur has found a way to transform this staple into a major dish. Teresa Alana ventured into the business of food processing in 2011. From sorting to packing, Teresa says the love for healthy food fueled her passion for the business.
I have come from a health background. I used to be a nurse educator. I founded School of Nursing in Warri, and I taught people how to live well. 2, plantain is produced in Delta State all year round, except that there are seasonal increases and seasonal decreases. And it can be quite reasonable. 3 is very healthy, very, very healthy for people with diabetes, hypertension, prevents iron deficiency and anemia, especially in children who love eating boiled plantain and palm oil or dodo with beans. Very healthy food.
Despite Teresa's passion, raising capital for a business was not a piece of cake. She had to make sacrifices to birth her idea, including selling off her personal belongings.
What pained us most was no bank will give us loan, because they said, oh, it's your machine, we're not sure you'll succeed or this. So one of my sisters, who is a chartered accountant, said to me, sister, why don't you just try this? Let us sell all we have and put it in. So we sold everything we have. I've no more, being a Warri woman, I used to be very fashionable in Warri. You know Warri people, then we know they carry last. But now we've sold all and put it into this, and I can't tell you how happy we are. It has paid off.
Teresa is not just out to earn a living, but she's also looking to grow into a company that provides jobs for other Nigerians.
I would say over 30 I've trained, because they keep coming and going. They keep going. You know, Nigerian, everybody wants to make it quick. And I don't have that quick to pay you, to make you. I haven't even made myself. All I know is I pay my salaries when I send you. I'm not owing a kobo to anybody. And I only train those who come to work for me. Over 50 or 30 to 50 I've trained. I don't know if they are doing the same thing when they've gone out, but I know that most of them are quite happy. And they keep asking, Mommy, are you still on a day where we day?
Nigeria is the 5th largest producer of plantain in the world, accounting for over 9% of the global plantain production. With more small and medium-scale entrepreneurs venturing into food production and processing, Nigeria may well be on its way to improving its agricultural export value. Mojisola Matomi, TV360 News.
We'll take a break here, but still to come, Australia declares Hezbollah a terrorist organization. We'll bring you details of this story and more right after this break. Welcome back. Now here's a quick recap of some of our top stories tonight. The Federal Executive Council has approved April 2022 as the takeoff date of Air Nigeria, the proposed new national carrier. Minister of Aviation Hadi Sirika announced the takeoff date while briefing State House correspondents after the Federal Executive Council meeting at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. He explained that the national carrier will be run by a company in which the Nigerian government would hold a 5% stake, while Nigerian entrepreneurs would hold 46%. We also told you that the federal government has blamed deregulation for the hike in cooking gas prices across the country. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timothy Silva, after a meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari in Abuja, told newsmen that government cannot regulate the price of the commodity. Silva, however, promised that the government is making efforts to reduce the cost of the commodity and make it affordable for Nigerians. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletin or for more updates, to log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Google Plus at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. Nigeria on Tuesday recorded 52 fresh COVID-19 cases. According to the Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC), the new infections were reported in 7 states. Rivers State topped the infection chart with 20 cases, followed by Lagos and Plateau with 15 and 8 cases respectively. There were, however, no deaths from COVID-19 on Tuesday, leaving the total number of fatalities at 2,974. And the World Health Organization's COVID-19 Technology Access Pool and the Medicines Patent Pool on Wednesday finalized a licensing agreement with the Spanish National Research Council for a COVID-19 serological antibody technology. According to a statement by the WHO, the test effectively checks for the presence of anti-SARS-CoV-2 antibodies developed either in response to a COVID-19 infection or to a vaccine. This represents the first transparent, global, non-exclusive license for a COVID-19 health tool and the first test license signed by MPP and included in the WHO pool. But we'll take another break here, and when we return, we'll bring you business updates. To stay with us.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
Wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators.
Well, welcome back. Up next is business news and stock market review with Folashade Ogurunde. Over to you, Folashade.
Well, thank you very much, Mary. And in business, the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, says the government can no longer sustain the petroleum subsidy costs, which currently stands at about 250 billion naira monthly. The minister, while justifying why subsidy must be removed by 2022, however, added that 5,000 naira a month transportation grant will be given to the poorest of Nigerians.
On the 5,000 naira transport subsidy that we are trying to work out to provide a succor for the eventual removal of the fuel subsidy. So the PIA, the Petroleum Industry Act, has a provision that all petroleum products must be deregulated. And in the 2020 budget, we made a provision to assume that at the maximum, by the end of June, we must exit subsidy. So this last fact, the subsidy cost to the Federation was 243 billion. So if you look at a cost of about 250 billion per month, and it has been increasing consistently, so we got something like we're expecting something like 120 billion per month from NNPC, Now we're getting to a point when NPC is remitting near zero. And if we don't stop, we'll get to a point when they'll be giving us a bill to say you have to actually pay me this for managing the fuel provision in the country. So if you take 250 billion times 12 months, that is about 3 billion naira. If we don't remove, 3 trillion naira. If we don't remove that, that is what is costing us. This is money that we can use to apply to health and to education. The intervention we want to provide, so we said between 20 to 40 million people, and there's still a lot of work going on within a committee that is chaired by His Excellency the Vice President, with the states as members and a few of us ministers as members. So we have to have a landing as to the exact number, between 20 to 40. We already agreed it will be 5,000 naira. And we also agreed that the remittances have to be done digitally. So the e-naira will help, but also so the various payment platforms that are currently available. What we will not do is paying people in cash. So it will be transfers that people will receive through one kind of electronic money or the other. And it's meant to be for a period of 6, 9, or 12 months. So these are things that we're still negotiation, because it's still money that will have been for the Federation account. So everybody that is a member of FAC has to agree on the numbers. The maximum will be 12 months. The minimum will be 6 months. We thought it was important to do this to give people a chance to adjust before the other support measures that federal government is working on materialize. And that is the provision of alternative to PMS, which is CNG, that is having mass transit vehicles converted to CNG. And also the bringing on stream of petroleum refineries, including the Dangote refinery, so that it reduces even the need to import the PMS in the first place. So that's the logic behind targeting the middle of next year. This money is meant to provide relief to the very poor and the very vulnerable. And from the experience that we have had on the conditional cash transfer, it shows that 5,000 naira that some people think is small actually makes a difference to families. It helps them to provide not only their basic needs, but we've seen women who are caregivers of these families actually start doing small trades, and they're able to maintain themselves thereafter. So in a way, it is not just consumption, it also helps to improve the productive activities of people that are at the bottom of the pyramid. I remember during the COVID-19 pandemic, we had more people becoming vulnerable, especially in the urban area. So we're not covering just the rural poor, but also the urban poor.
I'll take a break here and return with a review of the stock markets. Do stay with us. Equities markets closed on a negative note as all-share index depreciated by 0.02% to close at 43,245 basis points. Now, the poor performance resulted to investors losing as much as 11.36 billion naira at the end of Wednesday's trading session. Now, despite these losses, market breadth closed positive as the NGX recorded more gainers than losers. Now, speaking of losers, Honeywell Flour Mill PLC and Ethanol PLC led 16 losers rather, with a combined loss of 1 naira. Now on the gainers charts, let's see the top 2 gainers. Living Trust Mortgage Bank PLC as well as Champs PLC from the ICT sector both made a combined gain of 10 kobo. Overall market activity sees that over 243 million volume of shares valued at 3.746 billion naira exchange hands in 3,777 deals. Now away from the NGX, let's see take a look at how some of our selected stocks markets performed. The UK's FTSE rose for a third day on Wednesday, led by energy majors after oil prices gained, while leather-backed company Mulberry jumped on strong earnings as demand for its luxury products returned to pre-pandemic levels. Unfortunately, the Dow Jones and Japan stock Nikkei could not keep its head above waters as it closed in the reds at 0.27% and 1.58% respectively. But that's it on the business news segment. And news now, back to Mary for the rest of the news.
Well, thank you for that update, Folashade. And on the global scene, Australia on Wednesday listed all of Hezbollah as a terrorist organization, extending a ban on armed factions to the entire movement, which wields considerable power over Lebanon. Home Affairs Minister Karen Andrews said that the Tehran-backed Shiite group continues to threaten terrorist attacks and provide support to terrorist organizations and poses a real and credible threat to Australia. Hezbollah is part political party and part militia, the only group in Lebanon to have refused to disarm since the civil war ended in 1990. The movement, which plays a pivotal role in Lebanese politics, has been accused of fueling Syria's civil war by sending thousands of fighters across the border to prop up President Bashar al-Assad's regime. Well, up next is Entertainment Report.
Naval personnel and online comedian Abdul Ghaffar Ahmad, popularly known as Cute Abiola, has so far spent 10 days in the custody of the Nigerian Navy for posting a video of himself in military uniform on social media, an act which is said to be in violation of the Armed Forces social media policy. Word from Naval spokesman Commodore Saluman Dawoon is that Ahmad's case is an administrative one which is being treated administratively. According to the Navy, the comedian failed to show up when called upon to explain himself, but only returned after the expiration of his leave on November 15, 2021, and was put in custody the same day. His colleague, comedian Debo Adebayo Mr. Macaroni, had raised the alarm that Cute Abiola might be missing after reporting at his office in Navy Town, Lagos on Monday 15, 2021. Walt Disney is set to hold the African premiere of a new animated film, Encanto, at the Africa Rising International Film Festival, ARIF. The festival organizers say children from underprivileged backgrounds in Johannesburg will get a magical cinematic experience of the new Disney film on November 25, 2021, at its Film Child Social Impact Activation event in Sandton. A kids-friendly animated film directed by Byron Howard and Jared Bush, Encanto centers on a family called the Madrigals who live in an enchanted town in the mountains of Colombia. Every child but one in their magical house has been granted a unique ability such as strength or healing powers. Mirabelle, the only ordinary Madrigal, discovers that the magic is under threat and she may be the only one to save it. And that is it on the entertainment segment of News Now.
And now in sports, France and Real Madrid forward Karim Benzema has been handed a one-year suspension, jail sentence and €75,000 fine in a sex tape case that rocked French football. A French court on Wednesday gave Benzema the suspension sentence for complicity in a bid to blackmail his former France teammate Mathieu Valbuena with a sex tape. Benzema was not in court in the Paris suburb of Brussels for the verdict, which comes hours before Real Madrid take on Sheriff Tiraspol and a Champions League game in Moldova. Benzema has scored 9 times since being recalled by France manager Didier Deschamps for the Euro 2020 finals, delayed by a year due to the coronavirus pandemic, making him the 5th highest scorer in the history of Les Blues. Well, that's all in our bulletin. Well, thank you for watching. I am Mary Kanu. Bye for now.